Holy, she had 60,000 Canadian dollars and got a study permit application refused because of finances? Hi guys, it's Rachel and welcome back to my channel. So guys, I had this light bulb moment, which is why I'm going to switch things up. Because this is what I noticed about myself. I learn things by example. I learn things by application. But even better, I learn from my mistakes. You know, like, I look at other people's cases and I pick out the areas in their application that were good, and more importantly, what could be improved. And that's what mostly helped me succeed in all, if not most, of my Canada visa applications. So with that, in today's video, I am going to share a real person's case on their study permit application and give you guys insider info on what they did wrong for them to get a refusal and what they could have improved on their application. So that this may help you know what to do or what not to do in yours. You can check out this case yourself and I'll link it in the description box below. So with that, let's begin. So guys, the applicant is a 45-year-old mother and she has a daughter that is 7 years old and they're both from South Africa. Previously, from 2016 to 2017, the mother made 4 applications to Canada as a temporary resident, 1 for visitor or student, and she did all these 4 applications herself. The last application she did though was for a study permit and she had help from an immigration consultant. In her application, she stated that she was planning to apply for a 2-year business administration diploma from a school in Alberta. Unfortunately, the application was refused because the immigration officer stated that you, the applicant, have not satisfied me that you would leave Canada at the end of your stay as a temporary resident. The reasons for refusal were based on the purpose of visit, the employment prospects in the countryside, and her personal assets and financial status. Which is weird because she stated that she had 60,000 Canadian dollars as proof of funds. Now, as I was thoroughly analyzing her case, here are my opinions in her application. Intermission time! This video is kind of like a test pilot program to see if this series would fly or not. Pimple. If you do like it, do let me know in the comment section below. Anyway, let's go back to the video. So I previously mentioned that she applied for 4 temporary resident applications by herself. And take note, you guys, all these 4 applications have been refused. So already right off the bat, the applicant has a bad immigration history with IRCC after 4 previous refusals. Another factor in her application that was considered a red flag is that she was 45 years old. And I guess the immigration officer was concerned if she can maintain full-time studies while taking care of a 7-year-old. Her previous education, for lack of a better word, was also sketchy. From her application, she mentioned that she did study a course in financial management between January 2005 to November 2005. This was a course and not a diploma nor degree. And worse, it was more than 10 years ago, which begs the question, what is her convincing reason to study now? Okay, now let's talk about her work history. She was an accounting manager at a business in her home country, but this was less than 1 year work experience between September 2016 to July 2017. Now let's take a look at her finances. So her previous refusals from her 4 applications were based on finances, but in her new study permit application, she submitted new bank account details a couple months before her study permit application was submitted, and that total amount was close to 60,000 Canadian dollars. It's also not clear where the money came from, but she did mention that she got the money from sale of property and her pension. But wait a minute, she's like 45 years old, and so she's still of working age. I mean, don't you think that that's a bit too young to retire too? So how is she receiving pension? the mother was also concerned that she is going to financial destitute, or she's going to become poor, to fund her studies by selling her family home. So what if she doesn't? So for all of these reasons, her application was refused. So basically that was a summary of her profile on what she stated on her study permit application. Let's now move on to what I think, so it's an opinion you guys, what could have been done better on her study permit application. I guess point number one here is that if you have a history of refusals, it is best to seek legal help. And when I mean legal help, I mean an immigration lawyer, a Canadian immigration lawyer, or immigration consultant registered by ICCRC to help you and give you advice prior to engaging in another application. Second point here is that if you are an older applicant, please write a convincing, supportive, explanatory letter to ease the immigration officer's concern with your intention to study in Canada. Next important point is regarding your finances. Always calculate your funds prior to submitting an application. If you have a friend, a family member, or a sponsor that will help you pay for your living expenses or tuition expenses here in Canada, have that person write a legal document or a statutory declaration, if I'm not mistaken, stating that they will support you during your stay here in Canada. If someone is covering a portion of your expenses while living here in Canada, and they are either a PR or permanent resident or Canadian citizen, have that person also write a statement or a statutory declaration saying so, with supporting documents to prove that they are in fact a permanent resident or Canadian citizen. For your bank statements, they should be current within 30 days prior to submitting your application. Preferably give them 6 months of your recent bank statements. Also, do not deposit large lump sums into your bank account months prior to your application. You should also have a sufficient amount of funds to cover your tuition expenses and living expenses here in Canada. Living expenses include rent, utilities, transportation, food, and much more. Also, I've been getting a lot of questions about whether working a part-time job while pursuing full-time studies as an international student will be enough to cover your funds while living here in Canada. And well, like I said, you probably can live with that amount, but you're not gonna live a very comfortable life doing so, just because the cost of living here in Canada, especially in cities like Vancouver and Toronto, can be very expensive. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that you simply cannot rely on just working in Canada alone to be your main source of income to cover all your living expenses here. You need all the support that you can get. Also, you cannot rely on working in Canada to fund your studies because, again, I want to emphasize how expensive international student fees are here in Canada. Like, I would say when I studied back in 2017, the starting amount for 1 year full-time studies would be at 15,000 Canadian dollars. And expect that price to double if you're taking a 2-year diploma. So yes, it's very important to calculate the total amount of your tuition fees for your program and your living expenses that is reasonable for the city in which you choose to live in. Lastly, include all the bank accounts of persons supporting you as you study and live here in Canada. Whether it's your parents, your grandparents, your sponsor, your friend, make sure to note that down. If you follow all these tips, you will have a better chance at getting an approval from IRCC on your study permit application. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you have thousands of dollars. If you don't know how to explain yourself thoroughly in your application, you can still get a refusal for your study permit application. If you find this video helpful, please do give it a thumbs up. If you want me to continue doing a series of real people's cases on their study permit applications, do let me know in the comments below so I can continue pumping out real life stories of people that dealt with visa applications here in Canada. And together, we can peruse or study why they got a refusal on their application. To me, the best way to really learn something in life is by making mistakes, and that's okay as long as we bounce back and we really work on the areas that need to be improved. Also, follow me on my socials. We are close to reaching 10,000 followers on my TikTok account, so I'd really appreciate you guys if you do check that page out. That's RR Denzel on TikTok and also on my Instagram account. I hope you learned a thing or two in today's episode, and again, I appreciate you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Take care everyone, keep on smiling, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers!